Never again will you send my people into slavery on slave ships. Never again will you send them on auction blocks like there's nothing more than livestock. Never again, never again, never again will you send my people into slavery on slave ships. Never again will you send them on auction blocks like there's nothing more than livestock. Never again, never again. After glory, I will send me to the nation that lays their hands on you. For the nation that touches you, Israel touches the apple of his eye. Now Yahweh is so very displeased with the nation that are so at ease, because they forward the affliction to the very extreme degree. Never again will you send my people into slavery on slave ships. Never again will you send them on auction blocks like there's nothing more than livestock. Never again, never again, never again will you send my people into slavery on slave ships. Never again will you send them on auction blocks like there's nothing more than livestock. Never again, never again. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no more throne for you. You will never again sit on the throne and rule. I was brought with my people. I gave them into your hand. You did not show them any mercy, whether they was old or young. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, thy shame shall be seen. I would take vengeance on you. Yahweh is my name. Never again will you send my people into slavery on slave ships. Never again will you send them on auction blocks like there's nothing more than livestock. Never again, never again, never again will you send my people into slavery on slave ships. Never again. coming at you with another live out of the shop. I'm Brother Yagda Israel from the fourth son of Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel. We will be endeavoring to bring forth biblical and historical information from the Bible, from historical books and records. The name of the broadcast is Let Your Light Shine. Title of today's teaching will be It's Back at You, part number 5. It's Back at You, part number 5. For questions or comments, we can be contacted by phone. Phone number is area code 331-312-4022. Once more again, we can be contacted by way of our phone. That number is area code 331-312-4022. And we can also be contacted by way of email. That email address is YHDHYSRAEL@gmail.com. Once again, that email address. If you want to drop us a line, you can do it by way of our email. That address is YHDHYSRAEL@gmail.com. My brothers, my sisters, my people, to the 12 tribes of Israel that scattered to the four corners of the globe, Yahweh be with you, and Yahweh bless you. Shalom, shalom, Shabbat, shalom. Once more again, the slotted time for the broadcast, we come on Tuesday from about 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Then we do it all again on Friday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And then we come back and we have our Shabbat class on what they call Saturday, beginning roughly around 2 p.m. My brothers, my sisters, my people, O most Heavenly Father, Yahweh, come once more again to give thee thanks, giving thee praise, thanking thee, Father, for another day, for another opportunity to do those things that are pleasing in your sight. Pray, Father, for your wisdom, your knowledge, your understanding, your strength, your power, that we might be able to feed your sheep. We pray, Father, for the 12 tribes of Israel that are scattered to the four corners of the globe. Pray for all those that are calling on your righteous and precious name, those that are striving to keep your statutes, your laws, and your commandments. Pray, Father, that you would give us of your wisdom, your knowledge, your understanding. Give us of your strength and your power in these last and evil days, Father, that we might be able to endure until the end. Pray also for the 12 tribes of Israel, those that have eyes but cannot see. They have ears, O Heavenly Father, but they cannot hear. Pray that you will open up their eyes, that they might see your truth. Unstop their ears that may hear your word and say, this is the way, and walk therein. These things we pray in your precious Son's name and for his sake. Hallelujah. 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 Once more again, I'm Brother Yagda Israel from the fourth son of Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel. And like always, the first thing that we do is we present the name that we will be using, the original, ancient, Shemitic Hebrew name of the Most High that was delivered to Moses roughly around 1446 BC. We will not be using a traditional name, the Lord God, Jesus, Allah, Buddha, Baal, Ashtaroth, Moloch, Shammuz, Kyrios, or Theos. But we'll be using the 4 letters, which they call the Tetragrammaton, which we will be using exclusively, which we pronounce Yahweh. That's how we pronounce it.
The eternal significance of Yahweh's name. And it reads, this is from the Topical Encyclopedia, and it reads, the significance of Yahweh's name extends into eternity. Revelation 22:4 speaks of the redeemed seeing Yahweh's face and having his name on their forehead, symbolizing an eternal relationship with him. The name of Yahweh represents his covenant, faithfulness, and the promise of eternal life for those who belong to him. In summary, the name of Yahweh in the Bible is a profound revelation of his identity, character, and relationship with his people. And it is a source of worship, trust, and hope for his people, reflecting the righteousness, the power, and the eternal nature of the Almighty Yahweh. See what we can grab out of the book. It's been a very long day, but this is being pre-recorded, my brothers, my sisters. So it's been a very long day. The day of this recording is June 25th, 2025, which will be rebroadcast on June 26th, 2026. That's right, this is 2026, right? Beginning roughly around 6 p.m. is scheduled. The original name of the supreme deity in the Shemitic Hebrew Bible is represented by the Tetragrammaton, YHWH, most commonly pronounced Yahweh. The Tetragrammaton, YHWH, the Shemitic Hebrew Bible present the Most High's name as 4 letters, Yod-Heh, Wah-Heh, known as the Tetragrammaton. This name appears over 6,800 times in the Shemitic Hebrew scriptures and is considered sacred, representing Yahweh's eternal and self-existent nature, as revealed to Moses in Exodus 3, verse 14, with the phrase, I will be that I'll be. The name may derive from a verb meaning to be or to exist. That's what the name arrived from, the meaning to be. Whatever you want to name, it exists because of the Most High Yahweh. Let's see now what happened. I hit the wrong button. That's what happened. Let me see if I can grab me one more. Then we're going to back it up with some scriptures. Our premise, why we use the 4 letters, YHWH, why we use it exclusively. Now, this is from your neighborhood-friendly Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia, Tetragrammaton. And it reads, the Tetragrammaton is the 4 Shemitic Hebrew, is the 4 letters, the Shemitic language, Theon, transliterated as YHWH. The name of Yahweh in the Shemitic Hebrew Bible, the 4 Shemitic Hebrew letters written and read from right to left are Yod-Heh, Wah-Heh, and the name may be derived from a verb which means to be, to exist, to cause to become, or to come to pass. While there is no consensus about the structure and etymology of the name, the form YHWH is now almost universally accepted among biblical and Shemitic linguistic scholars. Though the vocalization continues to have wide usage, especially in traditions, modern, modern, modernity. Well, we don't need all that good stuff. That's all we need, my brothers. Let's get us some scriptures to back up our premise. Why we use the four letters? Why you use it exclusively? Well, we're going to read a couple of scriptures to bag that up. Why we use YHWH, Yahweh. Why we use it exclusively? We will not be using Lord God, Jesus, Allah, Buddha, Baal, Ashtaroth, Moloch, Shammuz, Kyrios or Theos. But we will be using the four letters exclusively. Exodus 3, verse 13 reads, And Moses said unto the Most High, Behold, when I come unto the children of Israel, shall say unto them, The Most High, power of your fathers, have sent me unto you. And they shall say to me, What is his name? Question. What shall I say unto them? We're going to drop down to verse 15. And it reads, Exodus 3, verse 15. And Yahweh said moreover unto Moses, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, Yahweh of your fathers, Yahweh of Abraham, Yahweh of Isaac, and the power of Israel, Jacob, has sent me unto you. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial unto all generations. Let's go in the vault. Let's grab us a witness, second witness. Secondary motion, Acts 4, verse 7. And when they had set them in the midst, they asked, By what power or by what name have you done this? Now the Apostle Peter had an answer, all lined up, ready and prepared for the gainsayers, right? Acts chapter 4, verse 12 reads, Neither there is salvation in any other, for there is none other name under heaven given among men whereby we must be saved, my brothers, my sisters, my people. There's no other name that was given than that which was received by Moses in the wilderness. My brothers, my sisters, my people. Let's go into the vault. Let's see what we can come up with. We're going to run to Romans chapter 10, verse 1. And it reads, Book of Romans 10, verse number 1 reads, Brethren, my mind desire and prayer to Yahweh for Israel is that they might be saved. I want to peep at this word called they. Right quick, I want to look at what is he trying to say to the brethren, right? What is he trying to say to his people? The Apostle Paul said that his mind desire is that Israel might be saved. They. Let's see what they mean by they. Let me see what that word implies, my brothers, my sisters, my people. They. Used to refer to two or more people or things previously mentioned or easily identified. Used to refer to a person of unspecific gender. See what else they got going on around here. Because that don't feel the bill for me. Those people, animal or things, used to refer to people in a general way or to a group of people who are not specified. Used with a singular identified pronoun. Used with a singular antecedent to refer to an unknown or unspecific person. Well, we ain't gonna get nowhere with all that good stuff there. But we know it was used in reference to the 12 tribes of Israel. Because that's what Paul said. Brethren, my mind desire prayer to Yahweh for Israel is that they might be saved. Verse number 2. For I bear them record that they have a zeal of Yahweh. Now we want to look at that word too, zeal. This is a reference night, dictionary night. We want to bring some historical documents tonight. But we want to do our due diligence in these English words. Zeal is the word we peeping at. Great energy or enthusiasm in pursuit of a cause or an object. Now, Paul said that the children of Israel, he said they got great energy when it come down to the Most High, and great enthusiasm in pursuit of the Most High. But let's see what they are lacking in, my brothers. What are they lacking? In Romans chapter 10, verse number 2. For I bear them record that they have a zeal of Yahweh, great energy, great enthusiasm, but not according to knowledge, my brothers. My sisters, what knowledge he referring to? For they being ignorant of Yahweh's righteousness. So what is the Most High's righteousness? What are we ignorant of, my brothers, my sisters? We're going to go grab us a couple of witnesses to prove the fact of what we are ignorant of, my brothers, my sisters, my people. Let me see if I can get right down to it. Now, let me see if I can get right down to it. My color coordination done disappeared. I don't know where I guess this is my KJV online Bible right here somewhere. We want to look at a couple of scriptures to see what there's knowledge that we are ignorant of. As Paul said, I bear them record that they have a zeal of Yahweh, great energy and enthusiasm. But he said not according to knowledge. And we want to find out what knowledge is he referring to. We go back and read that scripture one more time to refresh our thought process in Romans chapter 10, verse 3. For they being ignorant of Yahweh's righteousness. So we want to identify what is Yahweh's righteousness. We're going to go to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 6. Let's peep at Deuteronomy 6, verse 25. Start this program right there. Deuteronomy 6. We're going to run down to verse 25, and it reads, what is Yahweh's righteousness? And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before Yahweh, our Yahweh, as he hath commanded us. So to be righteous in the eyes of Yahweh means that we are keeping his commandments. We're going to go to Deuteronomy since we're so close. Deuteronomy chapter 12. And we'll peep at verse number 28, I believe. Deuteronomy 12, verse 28. And it reads, Book of Deuteronomy 12, verse 28. Observe and hear all these words which I command thee, that it may go well with thee and with thy children after thee forever, when thou doest that which is good and right in the sight of Yahweh, our Yahweh. What makes us right in his eyes? We observe and hear all these words which he commanded us, my brothers, that will make us good and right in his eyes. Let's see if we can pull out another second that emotion, third that emotion. We're going to go to Romans chapter 7. Book of Romans, the book of Romans. We're going to run it back to Romans. We want to peep at chapter 7, verse number 10, 12, and verse 16. Book of Romans chapter 7, verse number 10. What make us right? What is righteousness according to the Most High Yahweh? What does it mean to be spiritual, my brothers, my sisters, my people? Romans 7, verse 10. And the commandments which were ordained to life, I found to be unto death. Go drop down to verse 12. Verse number 12. Wherefore the law is righteous, holy, and the commandments righteous, holy, and just and good. Verse number 16. And it reads, Deuteronomy 7, verse 16. If then I do that which I would not, I consent unto the law that it is good. So in order to be righteous, if you want to call yourself, I'm a good person, right? Well, are you keeping Yahweh's law, statutes, and commandments according to his word that will make you right in his eyes? Now let's go back to the Apostle Paul, Romans chapter 10, verse number 3. And it reads, For they being ignorant of Yahweh's righteousness, and going about to establish their own righteousness, have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness of Yahweh. Verse number 13. We're going to drop down to verse 13. And it reads, For whosoever shall call upon the name of Yahweh shall be saved. So salvation is up under the name of the four letters, YHWH, Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh, in the Shemitic Hebrew alphabets. My brothers, my sisters, verse 14. How then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher, a teacher, someone to bring the information to your ear? And that's why we start off every broadcast, every class, every lesson, present the name front and center. First things first. We want to do our little part to make his name known amongst the children of Israel, my brothers, my sisters. Now let's see where he wants his name to be known at. Exodus chapter 9, verse 16. And in very deed for this cause have I raised thee up, for to show in thee my power, and that my name may be declared where? Throughout all the earth. He wants his name declared throughout all the earth, my brothers, from sea to sea, city to city, state to state, country to country, nation to nation, continent to continent. He wants his name declared throughout all the earth. So we just trying to do our little bitty part to make that happen. My brothers, my sisters, my people. Gonna go to Colossians 3, verse 17, and it reads, Colossians 3, verse 17, and whatsoever you do, in word or in deed, do all in the name of Yahweh, the Hamashiach, giving thanks to Yahweh the Father by him, and giving thanks to Yahweh and the Father by him. So whatsoever you do in word or in deed, do all in the name of Yahweh, the Hamashiach, the Anointed One. My brothers, my sisters, let's get us a couple more days. We're going to get ready to prep. You know how we do it around here. Let your light shine, right? We get ready to prep for our clips, but let's get a couple of more scriptures on the table. 1 Corinthians 1, verse 29. That no flesh glory in his presence. Verse number 30. But of him are we you in Yahweh the Hamashiach, who of Yahweh the Father is made unto us wisdom and righteousness, sanctification, and redemption. Verse 31, that according as it is written, he that glorieth, let him glory in Yahweh. So you want to boast a little bit? Make your boast in the Most High, Yahweh, his power, his word, his might, his wisdom, his knowledge, his understanding, my brothers, my sisters. We're going to make our boast in the Most High, Yahweh. Jeremiah 9, verse 24. But let him that glorieth glory in this, that he understand and knoweth me, that I am Yahweh, which executeth loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For in these things I delight, saith the Most High Yahweh. Let me read that again. I like the sound of that. Jeremiah 9, verse 24. But let him that glorieth glory in this, that he understandeth and knoweth me, that I am Yahweh, which executeth loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For in these things I delight, saith the Most High Yahweh. My brothers, my sisters, my people, we're going to get ready to prep for our clips. And like always, you know how we do this thing. As I open my eyes to another day, I see the sunrise, and I begin to say, ooh, Yahweh creation, ooh, it's so amazing, so marvelous, and I wanna thank you for giving me another day.
I wanna thank you. I wanna praise your name for giving me another chance. I wanna praise you. I wanna give you thanks for giving me your mercy and your grace. As I open my eyes to another day, I see the sunrise, and I begin to say, ooh, your creation, ooh, is so amazing, so marvelous. And I wanna thank you for giving me another day. Ooh, I wanna thank you. I wanna praise your name for giving me another chance. I wanna praise you. I wanna give you thanks for giving me your mercy and your grace.
Fits us. We waking up now. They call us African Americans today. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now.
I'm Benjamin. They call us West Indians now. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up
I'm
now.
Levi. They call us Haitians now. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Ephraim. They call us Puerto Ricans. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Manasseh. They call us Cubans now. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Simeon. They call us Dominicans now. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Zebulon. They call us Hondurans and Guatemalans. and Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Gad. They call us Native Americans, and Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Reuben. They call us Seminoles, and Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Asher. They call us Colombians, and Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Issachar. They call us Mexicans, and Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Naphtali. They call us Chileans and Argentinians, and Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. They call us African Americans. They call us African Americans today, and Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now.
I'm Benjamin. They call us West Indians now, and Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up
I'm
now.
P.5. They call us Haitians now, and Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Ephraim. They call us Puerto Ricans, and Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Manasseh. They call us Cubans now, and Deuteronomy 28
early 17th century, the first African slaves were brought to the shores of North America, marking the beginning of a dark chapter in the nation's history. The transatlantic slave trade, which had begun in the late 15th century, saw an estimated 12.5 million Africans forcibly transported across the Atlantic between 1525 and 1866, with around 10.7 million surviving the brutal journey. This human cargo, torn from their homes and families, would become the backbone of the American economy for generations. In 1619, the first recorded African slaves, numbering around 20, arrived in Point Comfort, Virginia, aboard a Dutch ship. This event, though small in scale, set the stage for the systematic enslavement of Africans in the American colonies. As the Ghanaian scholar and poet Abena Busia poignantly observed, the story of the African in the Americas begins with a river of tears and a trail of blood. The emergence of slave farms in America was driven primarily by economic motivations. As European colonists settled the New World, they quickly realized the immense potential for agricultural profit. However, the labor-intensive nature of crops like tobacco, cotton, and sugar required a significant workforce. Indentured servants, primarily from Europe, were initially used to meet this demand, but as the need for labor grew, plantation owners turned increasingly to African slaves. In 1705, the Virginia General Assembly passed a law stating that all slaves were to be held in perpetual servitude, effectively codifying the practice of chattel slavery. This legislation was a response to the growing demand for cheap labor and the perceived need to maintain strict control over the African population. Benjamin Franklin, in a 1773 letter to Dean Woodward, lamented the hypocrisy of the slave trade, writing, Pharisaical Britain, to pride thyself in setting free a single slave that happens to land on thy coasts, while thy merchants in all thy ports are encouraged by thy laws to continue a commerce whereby so many hundreds of thousands are dragged into a slavery that can scarce be said to end with their lives. The first slave farm in North America was established in 1619 in Jamestown, Virginia. By the late 17th century, slavery had become firmly entrenched in the American colonies, particularly in the South. The invention of the cotton gin by Eli Whitney in 1793 revolutionized the cotton industry, making it even more profitable and leading to a dramatic expansion of slave farms across the southern states. In South Carolina, for example, the slave population grew from around 7,000 in 1700 to over 100,000 by 1790. This rapid expansion was fueled by the insatiable demand for cotton from the textile mills of the North and Great Britain. As the abolitionist William Lloyd Garrison observed in 1831, "We are going to decide the question whether the slave-holding, soul-driving system shall be continued, whether the bosoms of our northern freemen shall be made the receptacles of its spoils, and their hearts the abettors of its abominations." Slave farms quickly spread across the American South, concentrating in the coastal regions of South Carolina, Georgia, and Virginia, as well as the fertile lands along the Mississippi River in Louisiana and Mississippi. The 1860 United States Census recorded a slave population of nearly 4 million, with the majority living and working on the estimated 46,200 plantations throughout the South. In Louisiana, the number of slaves grew from around 4,000 in 1720 to over 331,000 by 1860, with many working on the state's infamous sugarcane plantations. The Whitney Plantation in Wallace, Louisiana, which is now a museum dedicated to the history of slavery, serves as a stark reminder of the brutality and scale of the slave trade. As the former slave and abolitionist Henry Bibb wrote in his 1849 autobiography, "Slavery is a system of inhumanity that is founded in blood, cherished in blood, and can only be abolished in blood." Life on these slave farms was brutal and dehumanizing. Slaves were subjected to back-breaking labor from sunrise to sunset, with little rest and often under the threat of physical punishment. Frederick Douglass, a former slave who became a prominent abolitionist, described the conditions on a plantation in his 1845 autobiography, Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass, an American Slave. The slaves selected to go to the Great House Farm for the monthly allowance for themselves and their fellow slaves were peculiarly enthusiastic. While on their way, they would make the dense old woods for miles around reverberate with their wild songs, revealing at once the highest joy and the deepest sadness. Douglass's vivid account of the slaves' songs highlights the complex emotions they experienced, a bittersweet mix of joy and sorrow that characterized their daily lives. Another former slave, Harriet Jacobs, who escaped to freedom in the North, described the psychological toll of slavery in her 1861 autobiography, Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl. "Slavery is terrible for men, but it is far more terrible for women. Superadded to the burden common to all, they have wrongs and sufferings and mortifications peculiarly their own." The crops cultivated on these farms varied by region, but the most common were cotton, tobacco, and sugarcane. By 1860, the South was producing 75% of the world's cotton, with the majority grown and harvested by slaves. Tobacco, which had been a staple crop since the colonial era, also relied heavily on slave labor. On Louisiana's sugarcane plantations, slaves endured particularly harsh conditions, working in extreme heat and humidity to cultivate and process the crop. In 1853, Solomon Northup, a free-born African-American who was kidnapped and sold into slavery, described the grueling work on a Louisiana sugarcane plantation in his memoir, 12 Years a Slave. The hands are required to be in the cotton field as soon as it is light in the morning, and with the exception of 10 or 15 minutes, which is given them at noon to swallow their allowance of cold bacon. They are not permitted to be a moment idle, until it is too dark to see, and when the moon is full, they oftentimes labor till the middle of the night. Northup's account underscores the unrelenting nature of slave labor and the inhumane conditions endured by those forced to work on these plantations. The economic impact of slave farms on the American economy was immense. By 1860, the value of the South's slave population was estimated at $3 billion, equivalent to nearly $75 billion today. Slave-grown crops accounted for more than half of all U.S. exports, and the textile mills of the North and Great Britain relied heavily on slave-picked cotton. This economic dependence on slavery made the issue of abolition a contentious and divisive one, ultimately contributing to the outbreak of the American Civil War in 1861. In an 1854 speech, the abolitionist Wendell Phillips declared, "The North has nothing to do with slavery, so they say, but slavery has something to do with the North. It enters into its politics, deranges its industry, makes cowards of its public men, corrupts its churches, hardens the hearts of its people, and lowers the standard of its morality." Shadows of the Plantation, the harrowing reality of enslaved life in America. As the first rays of sunlight crept over the horizon, the enslaved people of the American South were already toiling in the fields. From the tobacco plantations of Virginia to the cotton fields of Mississippi, the daily life of an enslaved person was characterized by back-breaking labor, unimaginable suffering, and the constant threat of violence. In the words of former slave Henry Bibb, "I was a slave, a prisoner for life. I could possess nothing, nor acquire anything but what must belong to my keeper." This sentiment was echoed by countless others, such as Mary Prince, a West Indian slave who later became an abolitionist in England. In her 1831 autobiography, she wrote, "I have been a slave myself. I know what slaves feel. I can tell by myself what other slaves feel, and by what they have told me. The man that says slaves be quite happy in slavery, that they don't want to be free, that man is either ignorant or a lying person." The living conditions for enslaved people were abysmal, with families often crammed into tiny, dilapidated cabins. At the Magnolia Plantation in South Carolina, archaeological evidence suggests that some slave cabins measured a mere 10 feet by 12 feet, housing up to 10 individuals. Privacy was non-existent, and the meager furnishings typically consisted of nothing more than rough wooden bunks and a few cooking implements. Frederick Douglass, in his 1845 autobiography, described the sleeping arrangements on the plantation where he grew up. The children unable to work in the field had neither shoes, stockings, jackets, nor trousers given to them. Their clothing consisted of 2 coarse linen shirts per year. Similar conditions were found on plantations across the South, such as the Evergreen Plantation in Louisiana, where the slave quarters consisted of 4 rows of 22 cabins each, housing over 150 slaves at its peak in the mid-19th century. As the abolitionist and former slave Sojourner Truth famously declared, "I have borne 13 children, and seen most all sold off to slavery, and when I cried out with my mother's grief, none but Jesus heard me." Food was scarce and of poor quality, with enslaved people often subsisting on a diet of cornmeal, pork fat, and molasses. On some plantations, slaves were forced to grow their own vegetables in small garden plots to supplement their meager rations. In his 1853 memoir, Solomon Northup recounted the inadequate provisions given to slaves on a Louisiana plantation. The allowance of each slave per week was a peck of corn and 3 or 4 pounds of pork, or in lieu of pork, a bushel of sweet potatoes with a modicum of salt, which they used to boil their hominy and season their greens. This sparse diet led to widespread malnutrition and diseases such as pellagra, a vitamin deficiency that causes diarrhea, dermatitis, and dementia. The workday for enslaved people was long and grueling, typically lasting from sunrise to sunset. On cotton plantations, slaves were expected to pick a minimum of 200 pounds of cotton per day. a task that left their fingers bloody and their bodies exhausted. Failure to meet these quotas often resulted in severe punishments, such as whippings, beatings, or even mutilation. In his 1855 autobiography, My Bondage and My Freedom, Frederick Douglass described the brutality of plantation overseers. The louder she screamed, the harder he whipped, and where the blood ran fastest, there he whipped longest. This violence was not limited to adults. Children as young as 3 or 4 were put to work on plantations, often as water carriers who brought water to field hands, or as babysitters for the plantation owners' children. In 1852, escaped slave and abolitionist Moses Roper wrote of his experiences. "I have often seen the overseer beat my mother when she was in travail, and he would make her get up and go to work almost as soon as she was delivered of her child." Medical care for enslaved people was virtually non-existent, with plantation owners often viewing slaves as expendable commodities. Diseases like cholera, dysentery, and pneumonia ran rampant through slave quarters, claiming countless lives. In some cases, enslaved women were subjected to medical experimentation, such as the infamous surgeries performed by J. Marion Sims, who operated on enslaved women without anesthesia in the 1840s. This lack of basic medical attention contributed to the high mortality rates among enslaved populations, with the average life expectancy of a slave in 1850 being just 21.4 years. On some plantations, the infant mortality rate was as high as 50%. As former slave and abolitionist Sarah Parker Remond observed in an 1859 speech, "The slave mother's heart bleeds when she thinks of her children, for she knows not at what moment they may be torn from her bosom and sold where she may never more behold them."
See this scratch? Auto shops will
The psychological impact of slavery on those who endured it cannot be overstated. Families were torn apart, with children ripped from their mothers' arms and sold to distant plantations. The mistreatment of enslaved women by white slaveholders was rampant, as illustrated by the tragic story of Celia, an enslaved woman in Missouri, who was repeatedly subjected to unwanted advances by her owner and later executed for killing him in self-defense in 1855. The constant fear, degradation, and trauma experienced by enslaved people left deep scars that echoed through generations. As the former slave and abolitionist William Wells Brown wrote in his 1847 memoir, "Slavery has fixed a deep gulf between the two races, a dark abyss into which I fear both the oppressed and the oppressor will ultimately fall." This trauma was compounded by the systematic dehumanization of enslaved people who were treated as property rather than human beings. Sparks of defiance, resistance, and rebellion in the face of slavery. In the suffocating darkness of the slave quarters, whispers of resistance drifted through the air like wisps of smoke. From the tobacco fields of Virginia to the sugarcane plantations of Louisiana, enslaved people across the American South fought against their oppressors in ways both subtle and overt, risking their lives for a chance at freedom. As Harriet Tubman, the famed conductor of the Underground Railroad, once said, "I had reasoned this out in my mind. There was one of 2 things I had a right to, liberty or death. If I could not have one, I would have the other." One of the most common forms of resistance was the work slowdown, a tactic that allowed enslaved people to assert some control over their labor. By feigning illness, breaking tools, or simply working at a glacial pace, they could sabotage the plantation's productivity and frustrate their overseers. In his 1845 autobiography, Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass, an American Slave, Douglass recounted how he and his fellow slaves would sometimes make the dense old woods for miles around reverberate with their wild songs, using music as a way to resist the dehumanizing effects of slavery. This tactic was also employed by enslaved people on the Sea Islands of South Carolina.
It's one thing to talk about slavery in the abstract. It's another to name the very companies that benefited from the blood, labor, and legacy of our ancestors. These weren't just small-time operations. These are some of the biggest corporations in the world. Many still in business, still making billions, and still serving black communities today without ever paying the debt that they owe. So let's name 18 of them. Number 1, J.P. Morgan Chase. Their predecessor banks used enslaved people as collateral and took ownership when loans defaulted. Number 2, Wells Fargo via Wachovia. Wachovia admitted it directly benefited from slavery. Some of its original banks owned human beings. Number 3, Bank of America. Several of its predecessor institutions financed slavery and the slave economy. Number 4, Citibank. Tied to financing the cotton economy, America's most valuable export built entirely on slave labor. Number 5, Barclays, the British multinational that inherited wealth and influence from investments in the slave trade. Number 6, Royal Bank of Scotland. They provided loans and banking services to slave owners and traders. Now let's look at some insurance companies. Number 7, New York Life, formerly Nautilus Insurance, sold over 500 life insurance policies on enslaved people, payable not to their families, but to the slave owners. Number 8, AIG, through acquired firms, sold insurance on enslaved Africans. Number 9, Lloyd's of London, one of the earliest insurer of slave ships and enslaved people during the transatlantic slave trade. Now let's look at some elite universities. Number 10, Harvard University, benefited from donations and endowment funded by slavery. Number 11, Yale University, built wealth through donors, trustees, and faculty involved in slavery. Number 12, Princeton University, educated the sons of wealthy Southern slaveholders and supported slavery ideologically. Number 13, Georgetown University, sold 272 enslaved people in 1838 to pay off debt and recently began effort towards reparation. Number 14, Brown University, published an in-depth study of its own slavery ties, revealing deep involvement. Now let's look at industry and trade. Number 15, Lehman Brothers began as a cotton broker in Alabama. Cotton was America's #1 export, and it was built entirely on the backs of enslaved Africans. Number 16, CSX Corporation, admitted to using enslaved labor to build its southern railroads. Number 17, Norfolk Southern Railway, also built its infrastructure with the forced labor of enslaved people. Number 18, Canadian National Railway. They're tied through acquisition to railroads in the U.S. South that were built by slave labor. Now let's be clear, these companies didn't just survive the era of slavery, they profited from it, they grew off of it, and many of them continue to profit today, often while serving black customers, insuring black homes, and issuing loans to black businesses without ever fully reconciling the past. So the next time somebody asks you, why y'all still talking about slavery? Because the wealth it created is still moving and we're still catching up. Now drop a black fist in the comments and share this with someone who needs to hear this Black History gem.
All right, we back at it. Once more again, I'm Brother Yagai Israel from the fourth son of Jacob. His name was changed to Israel. For questions or comments, we can be contacted by phone. That number is area code 331-312-4022. Once more again, for questions or comments, we can be contacted by phone. That number is area code 331-312-4022. We can also be contacted by way of our email. That email address is yhdhysrael@gmail.com. Once again, brothers, sisters, if you want to drop us a line, you can do it by way of our email. That email address is yhdhysrael@gmail.com. My brothers, my sisters, my people, what to the slave is the 4th of July. Speech transcribed by Frederick Douglass. Full transcript of the famous speech, What to the Slave is the 4th of July, by Frederick Douglass. And it reads, Fellow citizens, pardon me and allow me to ask, why am I called to speak here today? What have I or those I represent to do with your national independence, of the great principles of political freedom and of natural justice embodied in that Declaration of Independence extended to us? And am I therefore called upon to bring our humble offering to the national altar, and to confess the benefits and express devout gratitude for the blessing resulting from your independence to us? Would you, Yahweh, both for your sake and ours, that an affirmative answer could be truthfully returned to those questions? Then would my task be light and my burden easy and delightful. For who is there so cold that a nation's sympathy cannot warm him? Whoso endure it and dared to the claim of gratitude, that would not thankfully acknowledge such priceless benefits? Whoso stoutly and selfish, that would not give his voice to swell the hallelujah of a nation's jubilee, when the chains of servitude have been torn from his limbs? I am not that man. In a case like that, the dumb might eloquently speak, and the lame may leap as a hart. But such is not the case. I say it with a sad sense of disparity between us. I am not included within the pales of this glorious anniversary. Your high independence only reveals the immeasurable distance between us. The immeasurable distance between us. The blessing in which you this day enjoy, rejoice, are not enjoyed in common. The rich inheritance of justice, liberty, prosperity, and independence bequeathed by our fathers is shared by you, not by me. The sunlight that brought life and healing to you has brought stripes and death to me. This 4th of July is yours, not mine. You may rejoice. I must mourn. To drag a man in feathers into the grand illuminated temple of liberty and call upon him to join you in joyous anthems, where in humane mockery, in sacrilegious irony, do you mean, citizens, to mock me by asking me to speak today? If so, there is a parallel to your conduct. And let me warn you that it is dangerous to copy the example of a nation, Babylon, whose crimes towering up to heaven, was torn down by the breath of the Almighty, by that nation in uncoverable ruins. Fellow citizens, above your national tumultuous joy, I hear the mournful wail of millions whose chains heavy and grievous yesterday are today rendered more intolerable by the jubilant shouts that reach them. If I do forget, if I do not remember those bleeding children of sorrow this day, may my right hand forget her cunning, and may my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth, to forget them, to pass lightly over their wrongs, and to chime in with the popular theme would be treason, most sacrilege, and shocking, and would make me a reproach before Yahweh and the world. My subject, then fellow citizen, is American slavery. I shall see this day in its popular characteristics from the slave point of view. Standing here identified with the American bondsman, making his wrongs mine. I do not hesitate to declare with all my soul that the character, conduct of this nation never looked blacker to me than on this 4th of July. Whether we turn to the declaration of the past or to the profession of the present, the conduct of the nation seems equally hideous and revolting. America is false to the past, false to the present, and solemnly binds herself to be false to the future. Standing with Yahweh and the crushed and bleeding slaves on this occasion, I will, in the name of humanity, which is outraged, in the name of liberty, which is feathered in the name of the Constitution and the Bible, which are disregarded and trampled upon, that to call in question and to denounce with all the emphasis I can command everything that serves to perpetuate slavery, the great sin and shame of America. I will not equivocate. I will not excuse. I will use the services language I can command, yet not one word shall escape me, that any man whose judgment is not blinded by prejudice, or who is not at mind a slaveholder, shall not confess to be right and just. But I fancy I hear some of my audience say it is just in this circumstances that you and your brother abolitionists fail to make a favorable impression upon the public mind, which you argue more and denounce less, which you persuade more and rebuke less. Your cause would be much more likely to succeed. But I admit, where all is plain, there is nothing to be argued. What point in the anti-slavery creed which you have me argue? What point in the anti-slavery creed which you have me to argue? On what branch of the subject do the people of this country need light? Must I undertake to prove that the slave is a man? That point is conceded already. Nobody doubts it. The slaveholder themselves acknowledge it in the enactment of laws for their government. They acknowledge it when they punish disobedience on the part of the slave. There are 72 crimes in the state of Virginia, which, if committed by a black man, no matter how ignorant he be, subject him to the punishment of death. Oh, boy. Subject him to the punishment of death, while only 2 of these same crimes will subject a white man to like punishment. What is this but the acknowledgement that slave is a moral, intellectual, responsible being. The manhood of the slave is conceded. It is admitted in the fact that Southern statute books are covered with enactments forbidding under severe fines and penalties the teaching of the slave to read and write. When you can point to any such law in reference to the beasts of the field, then I may consent to argue the manhood of the slave. When the dogs in your street, when the fowls of the air, when the cattle on your hills, when the fish of the sea, and the reptiles that crawl shall be unable to distinguish the slave from a brute, then I will argue with you that the slave is a man. For the present, it is enough to affirm the equal manhood of the Negro race. It is not astonishing that while we are plowing, planting, and reaping, using all kinds of mechanical tools, erecting houses, constructing bridges, building ships, working in metal of brass, iron, copper, silver, and gold, that while we are reading, writing, and chippering, acting as clerks, merchants, secretaries, having among us lawyers, doctors, ministers, poets, authors, editors, orators, teachers, that we are engaged in all the enterprise common to other men, digging gold in California, capturing the whale in the Pacific, feeding sheep and cattle on the hillside, living, moving, acting, thinking, feeding sheep and cattle on the hillside. Oh, living, moving, acting, living, planning, living in families as husbands, wives, and children, and above all confessing, worshiping the Most High Yahweh, and looking hopefully for life and immortality beyond the grave. We are called upon to prove that we are men. Would you have me argue that man is entitled to liberty, that he is the rightful owner of his body? Would you have already declared it? Must I argue the wrongfulness of slavery? Is that a question for Republicans? Is it to be settled by the rules of logic and argumentation? Is a matter set with the great difficulties involving a doubtful application of the principle of justice? Hard to understand. How should I look today in the presence of Americans dividing and subdividing a discourse to show that men have a natural right to freedom? Speaking of it relatively, positively, negatively, affirmatively, to do so would be to make myself ridiculous and to offer insult to your understanding. There's not a man beneath the canopy of heaven who does not know that slavery is wrong for him. What am I to argue? That it is wrong to make men brutes, to rob them of their liberty, to work them without wages, to keep them ignorant of their relationship to their fellow men, to beat them with sticks, to fly their flesh with the lash, to load their limbs with irons, to hurt them with dogs, to sell them at auctions, to asunder their families, to knock out their teeth, to burn their flesh, to stir them into obedience and submission to their master. Must I argue that a system thus marked with blood and stain, with pollution and wrong, do I will not, no, I will not, have better employment for my time and strength than such argument would imply. What then remains to be argued? It is that slavery is not divine, that Yahweh did not establish it, that our doctors of divinity are ministers. There is blasphemous in the thought. That which is inhuman cannot be divine. Who can reason on such a proposition? They that can, may I can, they that can, may I, they that can, may, I cannot. The time for such argument is past. At a time like this, scorching irony, not convincing argument is needed. Or had I the ability, and could I reach the nation's ears, I would today pour out a fiery stream of biting ridicule, biting ridicule, blasting reproach, withering sarcasm, and stern rebuke, for it is not light that is needed, but fire. It is not gentle showers, but thunder. We need the storm. The feeling of the nation must be quickened, and the conscience of the nation must be roused. The prosperity of the nation must be startled. The hypocrisy of the nation must be exposed, and its crimes against Yahweh and Israel must be denounced. What to an American slave is your 4th of July? I answer, a day that reveals to him more than all other days of the year the gross injustice and cruelty to which he is the constant victim. To him, your celebration is a sham. Your boasted liberty an unholy license. Your national greatness, swell and vanity. Your sounds of rejoicing are empty and heartless. Your shouts of liberty and equality, hollow marked. Your prayers and hymns, your sermons and thanksgiving, with all your religious parade and solemnity, are to him mere bombast, fraud, deception, a thin veil to cover up crimes which would disgrace a nation of savages. There is not a nation of the earth guilty of practices more shocking and bloody than are the people of these United States. At this very hour, go search where you will. Roam through all the monarchies and despotism of the old world. Travel through South America. Search out every abuse. And when you have found the last, lay your facts by the side of the everyday practices of this nation. You will say with me that for revolting barbarity and shameless hypocrisy, America reigns without rivalry. What to the slave is the 4th of July, my brothers, by Frederick Douglass. My brothers, my sisters, my people. See if we can get some of this in. I want to write to Luke chapter 12. Verse number 12 reads, "For the righteous spirit shall teach you in the same hour what you ought to say." And we believe that, my brothers, my sisters, that in that very same hour, the righteous spirit will teach you what you ought to say. Let's peep at this thing. Proverbs 1, verse 20. "Wisdom cried without. She heard of her voice in the streets." Verse number 21. "She cried in the chief places of concord, in the opening of the gates in the city. She uttered her words, saying," verse 22, "How long, you simple ones, will you love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge." Verse 23, "Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you." Verse 24, because I have called and you refuse, have stretched out my hand and no man regarded." Verse 25, "But ye have said at not all my counsel, and would none of my reproof." Verse 26, "I also will laugh at your calamities. I will mock when your fear cometh." Verse 27, "When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you." Verse 28, "Then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me." Verse 29, "For that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Most High Yahweh." My brothers, my sisters, my people, let's go into the vault. Let's see what we can come up with. We want to peep at the book of Job 28, verse number 12. And it reads, "But where shall wisdom be found? And where is the place of understanding?" That's a good question. Because, man think it's with him, right? Verse number 13. "Man knoweth not the price thereof. It is found in the land of the living." No, it's not a man. It's not amongst men, my brothers and sisters. The wisdom of the Most High Yahweh is not amongst man. We're going to drop down to verse number 20. The book of Job 28, verse 20. And it reads, book of Job 28, verse 20. "Whence then cometh wisdom? And where is the place of understanding?" Verse 21. "Sin is hid from the eyes of all living, and kept close from the fowls of the air." Verse 22. "Destruction and death say, we have heard the fame thereof with our ears." Verse 23. "Yahweh understandeth the way thereof, and he knoweth the place thereof." Verse 24. "For he looketh to the ends of the earth, and seeth under the whole heaven." Verse 25. "To make the way for the winds, and he weigheth the waters by measure." Verse 26. "When he made a decree for the rain, and a way for the lightning and thunder." Verse 27. "Then did he see it, and declare it. He prepared it, yea, and searched it out." Verse 28. "And unto man he said, Behold, the fear of Yahweh, that is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding." We're going right to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12. We're right to the book of Ecclesiastes in the regular KJV. We want to peep at Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, We're going to drop down to verse number 13. Ecclesiastes 12, verse number 13. And it reads, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Let me see if I can get it. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Yahweh and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of the 12 tribes of Israel. My brothers, my sisters, my people. Front to Isaiah 55, verse number 1. Book of Isaiah 55, one people, verse 1, and it reads, ho, everyone that thirsteth, come ye that to the waters, and he that have no money, come you buy and eat. Ye come buy wine and milk without money and without price. Verse number 2, wherefore do you spend money for that which is not bread, and your labor for that which satisfieth not? Hearken diligently unto me, and eat that which is good, and let your soul delight itself in fatness. So we got to eat that which is good. And we read that Yahweh's laws, statutes, and commandments are righteous, good, and just. So my brothers, my sisters, what are you drinking? Is it muddy water? And what are you eating? Is it defiled bread? Ho, come to the waters. Verse number 3. Incline your ear. That's all you got to do. And come unto me. Herein your soul shall live. And I will make an everlasting covenant with you, even the sure mercies of David. So the Most High is crying out to the 12 tribes of Israel, right? He's saying, return unto me. Go drop down to verse number 6, and it reads, the book of Isaiah 55, verse 6 reads, seek ye Yahweh while he may be found. Call you upon him while he is near. Verse number 7, let the wicked forsake his way. So what makes you wicked? When you sin, what is sin? Transgression of Yahweh's law. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man. Well, we read in Deuteronomy, right? That in order to be righteous in the eyes of Yahweh, we got to keep all his commandments. My brothers, my sisters, my people. So the opposite of righteous is unrighteous. That makes you wicked in the eyes of the Most High Yahweh. My brothers, my sisters, my people. And let him return unto Yahweh, and he will have mercy upon him. And to our Yahweh, for he will abundantly pardon. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith Yahweh. Verse 9, for as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. Verse 10, for if the rain cometh down and the snow from heaven, and returneth not thither, but watereth the earth, and make it bring forth and bud, that it may give seed to the sower, and bread to the eater. Verse 11, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. My brothers, Yahweh's word will not return to him void, unfulfilled. His will be done on heaven as it is. I mean, on earth as it is in heaven. That is without a doubt, my brothers. Book of Isaiah 46, verse 9. Remember the former things of old, for I am Yahweh, and there is none else. I am Yahweh, and there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. So the Most High is on record, right, saying that everything that he programmed to happen in the beginning, it will come to pass, my brothers, my sisters, my people. It's back at you. Let's peep at this thing. We're going to go to the book of Galatians. We're going to peep at Galatians 6, verse number 7. Galatians 6, verse 7 reads, be not deceived. Yahweh is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap, my brothers. So what you put out, that's what you're going, as they say, inherit, my brothers. My sisters, we'll run to the book of Obadiah. We'll run to Obadiah 1. We're on people at verse 15, and it reads, Obadiah 1, verse 15, and it reads, book of Obadiah chapter 1, verse 15, for the day of Yahweh is near upon all the nations, as thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head, my brothers. Let's peep at a few things that Yahweh has to say to the nations. As you have done, it shall be done unto you. We're going to peep at Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 35, and it reads, Deuteronomy 32, verse 35, to me belongeth vengeance and recompense. Their foot shall slide in due time, for the day of their calamity is at hand, and the thing that shall come upon them, it make haste. This thing is getting ready to come to an end, my brothers, my sisters. What side you gonna be on? Let's peep at this. We want to run to the book of Isaiah right quick. We'll run to the book of Isaiah, the seer, the prophet Isaiah, chapter 14, my brothers, my sisters. And we want to look at Isaiah, make that 13. Isaiah chapter 13. Let's see where we want to start this at. The book of Isaiah chapter 13. Let's start at verse number 1. Isaiah 13, verse number 1. And it reads, the burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the seer, the son of Amos, did see. Verse 2. Lift up a banner upon the high mountain, as of the voice unto them, shake their hand, that they may go into the gates of the nobles. Verse 3, have commanded my sanctified ones, have also called my mighty ones for my anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. Verse number 4, the noise of a multitude in the mountain, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. Yahweh of hosts mustereth the battle. So the things that are going on the planet Earth, you know, that you complain about, wars and rumors of wars, earthquakes, diverse places, famine. Yahweh is mustering the battle. We read that his word would not return to him void, my brothers. We read it as you done, it shall be done unto you. Believe it or not. Isaiah 13, verse 5. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven. Even Yahweh, what? And the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. What land he talking about? He talking about mystery Babylon, my brothers, my sisters. He talking about mystery Babylon. Verse number 6. How you, for the day of Yahweh is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Verse number 7. Therefore shall all hands be faint. Every man's mind shall melt. Verse 8. And they shall be afraid, pains and sorrow shall take hold of them. And they shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames, my brothers, my sisters. Behold, the day of Yahweh cometh, cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. Verse number 10. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in its going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. Verse 11, and it reads, Isaiah chapter 13, verse number 11. Now, what is the matter here? Come on, pop in for me. Isaiah 13, verse 11. I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity. Now call the arrogance of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. Verse number 12. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. Verse 13. Therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place in the wrath of Yahweh of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger. Verse 14. It should be as a chased roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. That shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one into his own land. So, Mr. Christian, Mr. I'm a salakalikum guy, where you gonna flee to? Where's you gonna run when the wrath of the Most High hit this planet, my brother? Let's reread a few of these scriptures. Let's go back for a spell. Let's go back to verse number 11. Let's see what the Most High, his word will not return to him void. He called the end from the beginning. And we're reading about the end, my brothers. Isaiah 13, verse 11. And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogance of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. Verse 12. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. Verse 13. Therefore will I shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place, in the wrath of Yahweh of hosts, in the day of his fierce anger. Verse 14. There shall be as a chased roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. There shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one into their own land. Verse 15. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. So what side you gonna be on? Israel, Mr. African American, Mr. Latin, Mexican, Puerto Rican, Mr. Cuban. What about you, Mr. Jamaican, Haitian, Guatemalan? What about you over there on the west coast of Africa? You Israelites that are in Europe, down under. What about you? We read that if you found joined to them, you gonna be thrust through. Now, who is the them, you say? Well, we're gonna put the them front and center. We're going to run to Revelation chapter 18. We're going to put the them front and center, my brothers, my sisters. We're going to look at Revelation chapter 18. We're going to start this at verse number 1. We're going to put it right out front and center. The book of Revelation chapter 18, verse 1. It reads, "And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory." Verse 2, "He cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become the habitations of devils, and the hole of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird." Verse 3, "For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornications, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies." Now we listened to a clip about how they obtained their wealth. It was on the backs of the so-called slaves, the indigenous, as well as those that was brought from the western shores of Africa, my brothers. This message is going out. Yahweh said, "Vengeance belongs to me. I will repay." Let's run to the book. Coming back to this Revelation. We ain't had enough of Revelation, but we want to run and grab us some Isaiah chapter 47. Because Yahweh got a message, right, for the powers that be. This message is going out to the wicked, which the earth have been given into their hands, right? Isaiah chapter 47. Because Yahweh's word will not return to him void, my brothers, my sisters, my people. The book of Isaiah chapter 47, verse number 1 reads, Isaiah 47, verse 1. "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon." Now who that be? We know that this is end-time prophecy. So whoever this daughter Babylon is got to be still on the planet somewhere. Let's see if we can identify them. Let's run to the book of Psalms. Let's see if we can identify who Yahweh is referencing. O daughter of Babylon. Around to Psalm 137. We're going to pick it up at verse number 1. Book of Psalm 137. We're going to start this thing in verse number 1. And it reads, "By the river of Babylon, there we sat down. Yea, we wept when we remember Yahdah, Judah, Israel." Verse number 2. "We hanged our harps upon the willows in the midst thereof." Verse 3. "For there they that carried us captive required of us a song. Sing us one of them old Negro spirituals, right? They required of us a song, and they that wasted us required of us mirth. Oh, you ought to be happy. Why you not smiling today, right? Saying, sing us one of the songs of Yagda Judah, Israel. Verse number 4. How shall we sing Yahweh's song in a strange land? Verse 5. And it reads, if I forget thee, O Yahweh Judah, Israel, if my right hand forget her cunning. Verse 6. If I do not remember thee, do you remember your homeland, my brothers, my sisters, my people? Do you know from whence you came? Do you have any idea of your history, your heritage, my brothers? Or do you know all about your adversaries? Psalms 137, verse 6. If I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Israel above my chief joy. Verse number 7. Remember, O Yahweh, the children of Edom in the day of Israel, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. So the Most High in this reference is speaking about this end time daughter of Babylon. And we got a name on the table, Edom. Now let's run Edom down. And we're going to come back to this Psalms. But let's run Edom down. Let's see. Who is this Edom that is referenced as the daughter of Babylon? We're going to run to the book of Genesis. Let's go grab us some Edom. Genesis chapter 36. When people at Genesis 36, who is the Most High talking to? Genesis 36, verse 1. Edom. Now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom. Verse number 2. Drop down to verse 8. Verse 8. So Esau is Edom. Verse number 8. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom, my brothers, my sisters. So we got a name on the table. Esau is Edom. Now let's see if we can pinpoint who this Esau is. I want to go to the Apocrypha. I want to run to the book of, let me see. I want to run to 2nd Esdras chapter 6. Let me see if that's what we need. 2nd Esdras chapter 6. The book of 2nd Esdras chapter 6. Verse number 1. Let's see who Esau is. My brothers, my sisters, my people. I want 2nd Esdras chapter 6. Verse number 1. Let's see if we can figure this thing out. In 2nd Esdras 6, verse 1. And he said unto me, in the beginning, when the earth was made, before the borders of the world stood, or even the winds blew. Verse 2. Before thunder and lightning, or ever the foundations of paradise was laid. Verse number 3. Before the fair flowers were seen, or ever the movable powers were established. Before the innumerable multitude of angels were gathered together. Verse 4. Or ever the heights of the air were lifted, before the measures of the firmament were named, or ever the chimney in Yahda Judah, city of David, were high. Verse 5. An ear The present years were sought out, and or ever the inventions of them that now sin return before they seal that have gathered faith for our treasure. Verse 6. Then did I consider these things. They all were made through me alone, and through none other. By me also they shall be ended, and by none other. Verse 7. Then answered I and said, What shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first, and the beginning of it that falleth, and the beginning of it that followeth? Verse number 8. And he said unto me, From Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob hand held first the heel of Esau. Verse number 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of that followeth. So this Babylon that he referred to is the descendants of Esau, who will be ruling until this time of the Gentiles be ended. My brothers, my sisters, my people. Now let's go back to this Psalms. Since we got a handle on who Edom, who Babylon, the daughter of Babylon is. See if we can get these last few in, and we're going to get ready to close this one out. Psalms 137, verse 7. Remember, O Yahweh, the children of Esau, in the day of Yagdah Judah, the city of David, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. Verse number 8. O daughter of Babylon, who are to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewardeth you as you have served us. Whatsoever man sow, that shall he also reap. What you have done shall be done to you. It's back at you. Part number 5. My brothers, my sisters. Verse number 9. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stone. Verse 10. Well, I want to be a little bit more of that one there, boss. But let's go back to that Isaiah. Then we're going to go back to Revelation. And then we're going to get ready to close this one out, my brothers. Isaiah 47, verse 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Now we found out that this daughter of Babylon is referring to the descendants of Esau. Esau today will be known as your friendly neighborhood white man, woman, boy, and girl. Those are the biblical descendants of Esau. And you know he's not really white. He's red to the bone, my brothers. My sisters. Let's see if we can pinpoint him right quick. I want to run to the book of Joshua, chapter 26. We want to peep at Joshua, chapter 26. We're going to pick it up at verse 6. It reads, And Isaac said, O Yahweh, Yahweh of heaven. Let's see if I can slide that over. Make it a little bit more feasible. Joshua, chapter 26, verse 6. And Isaac said, O Yahweh of heaven and earth, whose goodness and mercy fill the earth, thou who didn't take my father from his father's house, and from his birthplace, and didst bring him unto this land, and did say unto him, to your seed will I give the land, and thou shalt promise and thou didst promise him, and did declare unto him, I will multiply thy seed as the stars of heaven, and as the sand of the sea. Now may thy words be verified, which thou didst speak unto my father. For thou art Yahweh, our Yahweh. Our eyes are toward thee, to give us seed of men, as thou didst promise us. For thou art Yahweh, and our eyes are directed toward thee only. Verse 8, and Yahweh heard the prayer of Isaac, the son of Abraham, and Yahweh was entreated of him, and Rebekah, his wife, conceived. Now let's get down to the nitty gritty. Let's see who is in Rebekah's womb, right? Verse 13. And when her days to be delivered were completed, she kneeled down, and behold, there were twins in her womb, as Yahweh spoke to her. So she was conceived. In other words, she was pregnant with twins. That always implies two. Let's see about this thing. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. And all the people of the land called his name Esau, saying, this one was made complete from the womb. This all you gonna get, Mr. Esau. This red, this pale red, is all you gonna get. And after that came his brother, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel. Therefore they called his name Jacob. And Isaac the son of Abraham was 60 years old when he begat them. Let's go back to that Isaiah now. We got the players on the table. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. We read that Esau would be at the end. And afterwards, Israel will rise, my brothers, my sisters, my people. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no more throne, O daughter of the Chaldees, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Verse 2, take a millstone and grind meal, uncover your locks, make bare your leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the river. Verse 3, thy nakedness, all your wicked ways, Esau, is going to be put on the spotlight. It's going to shine on you in these last and evil days. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Yea, your shame shall be seen, and I will take vengeance, and I would not meet thee as a man. Verse 4, as for our Redeemer, Yahweh of hosts is his name, the righteous one of Israel. Verse 5, sit thou silent, and get thee into the darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the lady of kingdoms. Verse 6, I was wroth with my people, have polluted my inheritance, and given them into thy hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. Verse 7, and thou said, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to mind, neither did remember the latter end of it. The end of this. Esau is the end of this world, but Jacob is the world that shall follow. Who got next? We got next. Verse number 8. Therefore hear now this, thou that art given to pleasure, that dwelleth carelessly, that says in thy mind, I am and none else besides me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. In other words, conflict, war ain't gonna never be on our shores. Yahweh say, I beg to differ. Isaiah 47 verse 9. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day. The loss of children, widowhood, they shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries, and for the great abundance of thy enchantment. Verse 10, for thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee, and thou hast said in thy mind, I am, and none else beside me. Verse number 11, therefore shall evil come upon thee, thou shalt not know from whence it rises, and mischief shall fall upon thee, thou shalt not be able to put it off. Desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. Verse number 12, stand now with thine enchantment, and with thy multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so be thou mayest prevail. Verse number 13, thou art weary in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, monthly prognosticators, stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. Verse 14, behold, they shall be as stubble. The fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There shall not be a coal to warm it, nor fire to sit before it. Verse 15, there shall they be upon thee, with whom thou hast labored, even thy merchants from thy youth. They shall wander every one to his quarters. None shall save thee. Verse 16, hear ye this, O family of Israel. Jacob, which are called by the name of Israel, and are come forth out of the waters of Judah, which swear by the name of Yahweh, and make mention of Yahweh of Israel, but not in truth, nor in righteousness. It got so good I didn't know that chapter 47 was done and complete. Let's go back to this Revelation and we're going to get ready to close out. Revelation chapter 3. Chapter 18, verse 3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of your fornication. Now we got to put that on the table. What fornication is Yahweh talking about? I got a couple of more I need to grab before I call it a day. I want to go to Wisdom of Solomon chapter 14, verse number 12. What kind of fornication is he referring to here? What is he talking about? Revelation chapter 14, verse 12. For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them, the corruption of life. Verse 13. For neither were they formed from the beginning, neither shall they be forever. Verse number 14. For by the vainglory of men they entered into the world, and therefore shall they come shortly to an end. So what you worshiping? According to Yahweh, you worshiping idols. Lord God Jesus, Allah, Buddha, Baal, Ashtaroth, Moloch, Shammuz, Kyrio, Theos, you worshiping idols, my brothers, my sisters. Verse number 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sin, and that you receive not of her plagues. We read in Isaiah chapter 13. If you found joined to them, you're going to be thrust through Israel. And Yahweh say, come out of that mindset. What you mean come out of that mindset? That fork of the lie. That mindset. That December 25th birth of Nimrod. That mindset. That daggone worship of Astartes. What you know as Easter. The worship of the Queen of Heaven. That mindset he wants you to come out of. Verse 5. For you have sinned, for you heard sins have reached unto heaven. And Yahweh remembered her iniquities. Verse 6. Reward her, even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double, according to her works, in the cup which she hath filled. Oh, the daughter of Babylon, the one that is going to be ruling at the end of this thing. Yahweh say he going to reward you double. According to what you done, it shall be done to you. It's back at you. Verse number 7. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her mind, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Verse 8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death, mourning, famine, and she shall be utterly burnt with fire. For strong is Yahweh, who judges her. My brothers, my sisters, come out of Babylon. Lay hold, seek you Yahweh, while you may be found. Call upon him while he is near. Let the wicked forsake their way, and the unrighteous their doing. To the 12 tribes of Israel that scattered to the four corners of the globe, Yahweh be with you, and Yahweh bless you. Shalom, shalom, Shabbat shalom.
Never again will you send my people into slavery on slave ships. Never again will you send them on auction blocks like there's nothing more than livestock. Never again, never again, never again will you send my people into slavery on slave ships. Never again. Never again will you send my people into slavery on spaceships. Never again will you send them on auction blocks like there's nothing more than livestock. Never again, never again, never again will you send my people into slavery on spaceships. Never again will you sell them on auction blocks like they're nothing more than livestock. Never again, never again. After glory, I will send me to the nation that laid their hands on you. For the nation that touches you is real, touches the apple of his eye. Now Yahweh is so very displeased with the nation that are so at ease, because they forward the affliction to the very extreme degree. Never again will you send my people into slavery on spaceships. Never again will you send them on auction blocks like there's nothing more than livestock. Never again, never again, never again will you send my people into slavery on spaceships. Never again will you send them on auction blocks like they're nothing more than livestock. Never again, never again. curses will be upon the people of the Most High, for a sign and for a wonder. If it's not a black man, could you tell me who else could it be? If it's not you and me, we the people of the Most High. We the people of Yahweh. That's no lie. We the people of the Most High. We the people of Yahweh. No lie. We the people of the Most High. We the people of Yahweh. That's no lie. We the people of the Most High. We the people of Yahweh. No lie. We the people of the Most High. We the people of Yahweh. That's no lie. We the people of the Most High. We the people of Yahweh. No lie. And it written in Deuteronomy chapter 28 that the curses will be upon the people of the Most High, for a sign and for a wonder. If it's not a black man, could you tell me who else could it be? If it's not you and me, we the people of the Most High. We the people of Yahweh. That's no lie. We the people of the Most High. We the people of Yahweh. No lie. We the people of the Most High. We the people of Yahweh. That's no lie. We the people of the Most High. We the people of Yahweh. No lie. We the people of the Most High. We the people of Yahweh. That's no lie. We the people of the Most High. We the people of Yahweh. No lie. forever. You will be mine. Thought I never like ain't no time, no forever. You will be mine. Thought I never like no time, no forever. You will be mine. At night when I sleep, Never again will you send my people into slavery on slave ships. Never again will you send them on auction blocks like there's nothing more than livestock. Never again, never again, never again will you send my people into slavery on slave ships. Never again will you send them on auction blocks like there's nothing more than livestock. Never again, never again. After glory, have you sent me to the nation that lays their hands on you? For the nation that touches you, Israel touches the apple of his eye. Now Yahweh is so very displeased with the nation that are so at ease, because they forward the affliction to the very extreme degree. Never again will you send my people into slavery on slave ships. Never again will you send them on auction blocks like there's nothing more than livestock. Never again, never again, never again will you send my people into slavery on slave ships. Never again will you send them on auction blocks like there's nothing more than livestock. Never again, never again. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no more throne for you. You will never again sit on the throne and rule. I was